Hello and welcome to the Vermont Department of Libraries instructional video on how to set up your hardware for the Google Conference Grant. First we'll look at the equipment that was sent to us. First we have the rolling cart, which you'll see the TV is already mounted to. This should have been assembled for you already, and I will show you how that gets mounted onto, or how the TV gets mounted onto that stand. You also have the TV screen. There are instructions on how to take that out of the box, on the box itself, so we won't really go into that, but we will show you how that gets mounted onto the TV or onto the cart. Other things, we have some of the hardware that comes with the TV. We have cables and bolts and that sort of thing. We'll look at that in more detail later in the video. We have the bag cart, which we won't really look at today. There's really no reason to. We have our headphones and microphone. This is the HDMI cable. We have an Ethernet cable. Our microphone. Our streaming video camera. It's in pieces right now, but I will show you how to set that up later in the video. And our laptop. The first thing we're going to do is mount the TV screen onto the rolling cart. It's best to have 3 people do this job. Somebody should be on either side holding up the TV while the third person is actually putting the bolts in. You'll see that there are kind of 2 brackets on either side here. The distance between those 2 brackets is about 16 inches. So you want to try to make it as even as possible. So what you want to do is make sure you measure from here to here. That should be about 5 inches. It doesn't have to be exact. You'll see that I'm not completely exact here, but you don't want to have it weighted too much on one side, otherwise the cart could tip. So there are 4 places where you're going to mount this. We're going to use our large skinny Allen wrench, and we want the M6 by 25 millimeter bolt, as well as a multi-washer. And what we're going to do is put those onto the back of the TV. You'll see that I've already done that for 3 of them. And the 4th one we will do here. When you're putting the bolts in, you want to be sure to actually use the hole second to the top. Otherwise, it won't fit quite right down here. You also want to be sure that the television is flush with these brackets here. Otherwise the bolt won't go in. I don't know if you can see that there is a distance between where the bolt should be in and where the bracket is. Unless the TV is pulled flush to that bracket, it's not going to go in. So you want to be sure that the washer goes on first, followed by the bolt. Lastly, you want to look at the 2 screws that are here and here. These further hold the screen into place, so you want to be sure to use the same Allen wrench and just screw it in. So now that we have the screen mounted to the movable cart, we want to get some power to the television, and we want to connect the computer, the laptop, to the television. You'll notice that there were a lot of things that came with the TV, much of which you don't need. Really the only 2 things we should be concerned with at this point are the power cable and the remote control. The power cable here is kind of short, so hopefully you have an extension cord or an outlet nearby. And what you're going to want to do is take this end, and on the television it's just behind where it's mounted. So it's kind of a pain to get to, but you do just want to plug it right in here. Now that we have power to the television, we want to be sure to connect power to the laptop. The power cord itself comes in two pieces. We just put those together, and the power jack is located on the left side of the laptop, so we just plug that in. Now that we have power to the laptop and the television, we want to connect the two using the HDMI cable. That comes in this bag here, and this is what it looks like when it gets untangled. You'll know it's the HDMI cable because, I can't focus on that, because it will say HDMI right on it. And both ends are the same, so it doesn't matter which end you plug into which device. But the HDMI jack on the computer is right here. So it's right next to the control button, and we just plug that in. And then the other end will go into the television, and that is on the back panel. So if you're facing the back of it, it's on the right. You'll see that there are multiple HDMI inputs. I would suggest putting it in the first slot here, only because that is the first place it's going to go when you're using the remote control to get to where you want to be. So we just plug that in. Now that the computer and the television are connected to each other, we want to turn the power on. And using our remote control, we want to use the power button to turn on the television. And you'll see that the two are now connected. For whatever reason, if it doesn't automatically pop up on this screen, you want to look at the top buttons of your remote control. If we can get it into focus, you'll see on the far right it says HDMI PC. You want to keep hitting that button until it says HDMI 1. So now we're going to connect the camera to the laptop. This comes with various pieces and cords. Really, the things we're most concerned with are the camera itself. It just plugs right into the base of the unit like that. This here is used to extend, so that this could come up here. You just plug it in the same way. The remote control we won't get into. This cord we really don't need to worry about. We do need to worry about the power cord. It comes in two pieces, so we have to actually put this piece onto the cord like that. To take it off, we just press down on this and it'll pop right off. The USB port is already connected to the base of the camera. The power cord just goes right in here, and then it's ready to be plugged into the computer. So to plug the camera into the computer, we just use the USB cord. You'll see that we have 3 USB ports right here. Here's our HDMI cable. We just plug the USB cable right into the computer like that. Initially what's going to happen is you'll have a lot of software that will be loaded onto your computer. It takes about 5 minutes to do that, but after that you don't have to worry. Next we have our microphone. There's really only 2 parts you need to worry about with this. We have the microphone itself and the cable we use to plug it in to the computer. You'll see in big bold letters USB. We just plug that right in there, and then we would just simply plug this into the computer, preferably next to the USB port for the camera. And so I am going to be plugging the microphone into the computer. like that.